let's break down everything that happened in the lift-off week 0 of the Open. We'll talk numbers, big weights, what teams earned what points, who's starting out in the lead going into week 1, and then we'll wrap this up with a few details on what week 1 going forward looks like for the Rampage Open. If you're not a fan of watching my videos and hearing me talk, I'll go ahead and spill all of the news right at the start of this. So if you don't want to hear all the detailed breakdown, all you need to do is listen for about the next 10 seconds. Winning the entire liftoff was Team Tiger Cleans. Coming in second overall were the Downward Dogs, and then coming in third were the Power Pandas. So there you have it. Now let's talk points, divisions, men, women, big lifts, so on. So the more detailed breakdown for the men's, the Tiger Cleans swept all 3 categories: the clean, the jerk, the total. We wondered if there would be any difference in somebody won the clean, someone else won the jerk, and it was relatively close. We'll get into that as well. Power Pandas came in second all the way across for the men. Downward Dogs came in third all the way across for the men. On the women's side, it was a little different. However, it did stay the same for all 3 divisions. The Downward Dogs came in first for all of the clean, jerk, and total. Tiger Cleans took second, barely, and then the Power Pandas came in third. So I want to talk about a couple notable things. First, let's just talk about overall participation in the Open and the liftoff, if I can find my right sheet. We currently have 76 people signed up for the Open, which is amazing, and 63 of those showed up this past Friday afternoon to compete in the liftoff. That's 82% of everyone signed up for the Open came out and lifted some weights. I think it suffices to say that was a big enough event. People liked it enough. We will go ahead and plan on doing it to start the Open next year as well. So 76 people signed up. That doesn't mean you can't still sign up and be put on a team prior to this Friday. So getting back into these numbers, I wanted to put down the closest rankings, or rather the closest total weights that one person extra showing up to your team could have changed the outcome of. So in the men's, the Tiger Cleans, they won the clean event only by 40 pounds. So if, in this case, if the Power Pandas would have had one more guy show up and just cleaned literally any weight, then he would have put them in first over the Tiger Cleans. Also, the Tiger Cleans won the jerk by 220 pounds. Now, I know not everyone's lifting 220, but that could have been the difference of one lifter if someone could have came in and jerked 225. So the Tiger Cleans did win by barely just one lifter, but that's what it took. They did it. On the women's side, for the clean, the Downward Dogs, they beat the Tiger Cleans by 120 pounds. So if one more person would have showed up that cleaned 125, the Tiger Cleans could have beat the Downward Dogs. Or if just a handful of people on the team lifted 5 more pounds. So that was pretty close. Here was one that was extremely close. The Tiger Cleans beat out the Power Pandas on the clean event by 30 pounds. So on the clean, the Tiger Cleans totaled 1,430. The Power Pandas 1,400. So the Tiger Cleans 30 pounds ahead. That's what it took for them to beat out the Power Pandas. Now, something that was extremely close, it couldn't be any closer, was a tie. For the jerk on the women's side, the Downward Dogs won by 135 pounds, but the Tiger Cleans and the Power Pandas tied at 1,415 pounds. Now, the tiebreaker automatically goes to the team that simply had more in-person participation, because the team with less basically earned some of those pounds, if you will, because they had less and we added fill-in points. So in this case, the Tiger Cleans take the tie over the Power Pandas on the women's jerk because they had more people show up. So if we want to break all of that down into how many points each team got, I won't discuss every single division, but know that if you won an event, your team got 5 points. If your team came in second, you got 3. If your team came in last, you still got 1 point. So it shook out pretty evenly. I did kind of fear that there might be a huge gap at the end of this, but there wasn't. The Tiger Cleans won it all with first place across in the men's, second place across in the women's, and they got 24 points, of which they will hold on to going into the first official week of the Open. The Downward Dogs took third across for the men's, but their women came through and got first across. So the Downward Dogs ended up with 18 points. And then the Power Pandas, they held a strong second for the men, and then they took third across for the women, leaving them with 12 points. So those points will carry over into week 1 of the Open, of which now teams will be getting points for member participation in the classes, also attendance weekly, and then we will have spirit points per week. Week 1 is going to be a team banner. More details to come on that, as well as we will be giving out points for the first, second, and third place in each division. Reminder on those divisions for week 1 and on, they are what's called the scaled through CrossFit.com. We call it fitness, Masters 40 and up RX, which will probably look similar to the regular RX, but it's a different leaderboard, and then scaled Masters 40 and up. So ultimately there are 4 different divisions, but in reality there are 8 because on all of those there's a men's and a women's. So lots of opportunities for every team to score some points because we're awarding 3 points each for first, second, and third in each of those divisions. So a lot of points up for grabs. Now we're going to close this out with talking about some of the big lifts that went down this past Friday. Now I'm not going to have time to go over every single person's lift because there were 63 people. So I want to highlight the top 5 lifts. These were huge. They were a lot of fun. But that's not to discredit every single one of you that came out, showed up, lifted heavy. And I believe a ton of you PR'd. And I'm almost certain that every single person lifted more than the fill-in pounds. Basically meaning your team would have done better if you didn't show up. Because if you lifted less weight, they would have done better. And that didn't happen for anyone. So I believe every female lifted over the 75 and every male lifted 135 or more. So kudos to you guys, bunch of strong folks. Let's finish this up with talking all the top 5s. Men's clean. In 5th, we had Jacob with 275 pounds. Then we had a tie in 4th place with Mark and Chase, both cleaning 285. Austin pulled 295, and JT didn't let anyone have a chance. He cleaned 335. Moving over to the men's jerk, similar, but we had someone else creep in on this. Chase lifted 280 pounds. Josh Fulmer push pressed 285 pounds. Mark hit 290. Austin jerked 300, and then JT yet again 325 pounds. So real big list for these top 5 guys. I definitely want them on my team. For the women's, this was amazing to see. If you guys haven't met Austin's younger sister, Lily, I believe she's 15 and she is strong. She's been doing open gym, but she just recently got signed up to participate in the Open, so she'll be doing classes. She tied with Allie, coming in 5th with a 155-pound clean. Stellar work, both Lily and Allie. And then Erin, which is Allie's sister, cleaned 160 pounds. Then Coach Michelle with 170. Coach Casey with 205, and Coach Molly with 225. Moving over to the jerk. We had Allie jerk 155 pounds. Kelly Long stepping in, damn near push pressed it with 175 pounds. Michelle got 195. Casey jerked 195, and Molly with 225. And then I wanted to give a notables for the women's jerk as well, because just under that 5th place, we had 3 women all lift 150, which is still a huge number, very respectable. That was Lily, Kristen, and Christian all coming in at 150. So, real big weights that went up. This was an amazing event. This has been a long video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Expect one of these each week as a follow-up to the past week's open results. All right, guys, let's see you out there this Friday for the open workout. We don't know what it is. That will be announced Thursday night at 7 p.m., and then we'll quickly get everything prepared for Friday's classes. All right, have a great rest of your day.